Welcome to the Launch to Six podcast, a podcast about how you can launch your online business from 0 to 6 figures in 24 months or less, regardless of your prior experience. Now, here's your hosts.
Hey guys, what's up? We've got an awesome episode today at Launch to Six. I've got my good friend Ollie, and he's in Sweden right now and it's snowing, right, buddy?
Yeah, it's like a blizzard out there. I woke up this morning, it looks like communist Russia. Everyone's like on.
Good Lord. That's a nice start, right? To the podcast.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this podcast, guys, is going to have great content for you. Awesome content. Ollie's going to share, his story from humble beginnings to making money online, selling products, affiliate stuff, lots of things that you can take away from. But, we have been good friends for years. So there will be many laughs and some horrendous stories probably will come out of this. Okay. So I do have a ragdoll cat in the background. That's Corona for you. But yeah, man, maybe let's just take the guys through the journey and start with where you started, where you actually begun in terms of not knowing anything about making any money online. And because I think a lot of people in their mind think someone that's crushing it online, or they see their ads, they're like, oh, these people, Tom, Ollie, all these other people were naturally good at, say, technology, or they really knew how to sell, or they had rich parents. So maybe share your story, man, from the beginning.
Yeah, so before I got started, I was basically a musician, right? I still am. So I was like the opposite of an entrepreneur. I was interested in becoming, maybe either an artist myself or being part of a band. And if anything, I was like worried about selling out. I was worried about, I had all those limiting beliefs about making money and how, it's evil and greed and all this stuff. So really part of my journey was actually breaking through all of that and really coming to the belief that it is okay to actually make, decent amounts of income.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's where I started from, man. I was completely clueless when it came to business.
Yeah, for sure, man. No, for sure. That's our story as well. And for guys, everyone listening, me and Ollie, we probably lived about a 2-minute walk?
Yeah, you walk across a little park, take the path.
Oh God, yeah, bringing back our stories. So guys, we're laughing because a lot of people, because we grew up in Windsor, but with Windsor, there's the rich side and there's the lower class side.
Yeah, there's the castle where the Queen lives, and then there's all the council estates like 5-10 minutes down the road. That's where we grew up.
And the funny thing is, because I was doing property at the time, and I remember, I think my brother was helping me with the property investing and real estate. Wherever you guys are listening to this in America and stuff, you guys use the term real estate. But I was doing that, and I just started. I was probably a year in, and I think my brother actually gave you the 4-hour work week, didn't he, Ollie? And that sparked, you were like, "What is this?" I remember that.
Yeah, that was insane. So that was probably the fastest I ever read a book. Actually, I do read, but I'm not an avid bookworm, not an avid reader. I stayed up all night reading that book. I think I finished it in like 2 days or like a day and a half, because it turned something on in my mind that, like, hang on a minute. So, I thought the only way to earn money without being in a job was to somehow get lucky and make it in the music industry. And like be selected by a record label. And that was how you could make money without being in a job. And that was just the way my mind was programmed. But when I came across this book, I was like, okay, so you can structure a company where you've outsourced most of the labor. You don't necessarily have to have an office, and do all the boring kind of traditional things you think of when you think of like business. And you can earn pretty much as much as you want, and you can travel, and you can run it from a laptop, and like all these ideas, they were brand new to me. So that was the start, I would say. And that was back in 2012, 13, maybe?
Yeah,
2 years ago.
2013. Yeah, time goes so quick. But yeah, man. So maybe share a little bit about, obviously the light bulb for you, I guess, was that 4-hour work week book you're saying. So what did you do from there? What was your first business model you used? And, did you have a lot of startup? Did you have good credit? Did you have, office buildings and tons of funding. Like maybe share a little bit about that, how you made your first amount of money online, and just take us down that journey.
Yeah, that's a good question. So, I mean, the only income I'd ever had was from working in a bar. Right, that's it. That's the only job I've ever really had. So
That
I
was
was earning
10K a
about
month, right? How much was that?
It was £7.36 an hour, 0 hour contract.
Wow.
And so it just depended how many shifts I got each week. You know, a good month I'd get about £1,200 or something. And that would pay for my room where I lived, which was a £400 a month room. I was like a lodger in someone's house, living in the room with my girlfriend in the room. And next door to the room was the owner of the house. It was their teenage daughter. So when the dude would go away, she would have like these house parties. So I'd come back from a long shift in a bar, sometimes coming back at 2, 3 a.m. And the house would be full of teenagers, drunk, passing out, throwing up. And it was just like, this is not an ideal,
it's not ideal to
living
start a business
situation.
and change your life, is it?
No, it was very challenging. But I mean, my idea was, well, look, I'm a musician, right? I write music, compose music. I'm interested in that. So I was like, well, maybe I could start something in that industry. Right, so I started off doing things like freelance composition. My plan was to write music for video games. I mean, I actually did get a gig. I used a lot of the stuff in the 4-hour work week. Like I hired a virtual assistant to go and contact game developers in the UK. And we contacted probably about 800, built a database of 800 game developers, messaged them, built these connections. Finally got a gig and got paid maybe £3,000 or £4,000 over a few months to write music for this game. And now it's actually like a video game theme park ride that's now hosted in a mall in Dubai somewhere.
Awesome.
Kids go on it.
So you took a bit of information from the book, applied it, and did you procrastinate on it and take years, or did you just do it and just see it and test it and see, actually, let me see if this stuff that this guy in this book is writing actually works, right? Because I'm sure you were skeptical. I was when I first learned about online marketing, but also open. And I was like, well, let me try this to actually put it to the test.
Yeah. I mean, I think I was skeptical, not that it's possible, but I was skeptical that it was possible for me. That's what I was worried about. I was like, yeah, look, other people have done this. Like I've seen that you'd done it to some degree. So I was like, okay, it's doable. But I was like, I don't think I've got the stuff, you know? So, but anyway, I was excited. So the main thing was for me was I was like, I've got to find something to sell. Because that's the big thing when you want to start a business. It's like, I need to find something people will actually buy, like something that adds value, right? So I can charge for it. And I thought, well, the only thing I have that adds value to the world is music right now. So that's what I started with. But I found like after I got that gig, I don't know, I realized that I didn't like working and being paid like per hour. Like when you work as a freelance musician, you basically get paid per minute of completed music. So that's an equation which basically calculates how many hours you've put in to create that piece of music. You're basically getting paid per hour. And I very quickly realized that what I was really passionate about was leverage. So what if I could work less hours and get paid a lot more? And that's when I really started to transition and look for other ways to make money.
For sure. And what was your vehicle? I obviously know what it was. It was in the e-commerce industry. Maybe share a little bit about the strategy you used, and you don't have to go in deep into the Amazon strategy, but maybe to share a little bit of that first amount of money you made, how that made you go. Because I remember seeing you, because we would work in coffee shops, sort of together and stuff. I remember seeing it to you, and you went into another gear then when you made that first bit of money. Because a lot of the listeners here, they've not made that first amount of money online. And I know how much it can change your mindset and your life, really, because it's possible for you now. So maybe share a bit about that, mate, because that's pretty awesome to see.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, when I realized leverage was what I wanted, and when I realized that actually it was not the music I was passionate about, actually I was more passionate about the business side of things. I was more passionate about getting the job rather than just making the music for the money. I was like, what could I do? Like what model? Like there's so many things out there and I don't know anything about any of them. And then we came across e-commerce, and I think you were signed up to some kind of program back in the day that involved selling stuff on eBay. And so this is how I got started. So what you would do is you would find a product on Amazon, right? They were selling on Amazon, list it on eBay, and then when it sells, ship it from Amazon to the eBay customer. Okay, so this is called drop shipping. This is like a really, really powerful method because you don't need to buy any stock. All right, you can, just list the products and then only pay for them when you get a sale. So to me, that was like, okay, this has leverage because I could list, 400,000 items without paying for any inventory and only pay when I get the sale. Right. So this, by the way, is something you can't do anymore. eBay they've cottoned onto it and they're not a big fan of it. So it doesn't really work now. But at the time, it was hot. And there are other ways of doing drop shipping now, by actually getting a real drop ship supplier. But anyway, this is how I got started. And within a couple of weeks of listing items on eBay, it happened. I made my first sale, and I remember it was a toy. It was like a toy, children's toy, some kind of blocks set or something. And I sold it for about £35. Right. I bought it from Amazon for something like £22, sold it on eBay for 30 something pounds. After fees and everything, I made about £3.50 profit. Okay, so pennies, right? But that was when the light bulb switched in my head. And I was like, okay, I want to do e-commerce. Right.
And
that's when I realized like it's real, you can do it.
You did it. They told you, a mentor. I remember the program. I need to mention the program, but I remember that program. I didn't get into it because I was doing the real estate stuff, but then I was like, look, this is good. And then you just really just went all in on it. There's a couple of people that tried it, but you just went all in on it. I guess because, you were hungry for that as well. But I remember. The good thing is you don't have to meet any, because you didn't want to have to door knock or meet anyone. Did you? Sales is not really, I know you don't mind it now because you don't mind it, but you didn't want to do like hard selling, and you're more introverted in that way, right? Because a lot of people are like, oh, they're on video, they're really confident in that area, but they don't see the before, That's why I think it really hits people down. They look at like gurus and stuff and they don't see them before. I like to go back to people's YouTube videos, their first ever YouTube video. I want to see I just want to see the journey. I'm interested in the journey. But maybe what do you think about that when people would say, oh, you need to be good at sales? With that model, you don't. And you got in drop shipping early, didn't you? I mean, everyone's talking about that now, but you got in, early, 7 years ago, 8 years ago.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So knew about it then, was it? It was very small, man, wasn't it? It was a very small niche.
It felt like it. I think it was still quite a new thing. I think that's why a lot of like big platforms didn't know about it. Like eBay didn't know. Now they've got a specific term that says you can't do this, but then they didn't know what was going on. It was the perfect business model for me. Like you say, I didn't want to do any networking. I didn't want to do any sales. I just wanted to do something where I could sit in a room by myself on my laptop, just cranking out work, and obviously you can take the laptop anywhere. So I'd go to a coffee shop every day. That would be my office, order some coffee, sit there and just grind it out and work, so it was the perfect business model for me, really.
Amazing.
And before I knew it, I mean, I got to pretty quickly, making a few £100s a month in profit. And then that scaled to, just with the eBay, that scaled to say £1,000 within, a few months pretty quickly. And then we got to say 2-3K a month profit just from the eBay. Wow. And I think now from that model, I've done about 50K in sales on eBay over the course of maybe 6 months. But I realized that eBay had a bit of a limit, right? I was like, okay, eBay's good, but in the back of my mind, I knew that Amazon was way more powerful, way more people shop there. But also it's a slightly more like high pressure environment. You have to have your shit together if you're selling on Amazon. Like, they're kind of brutal. Like they need you to be a professional seller, basically. Anyway, when I switched to Amazon, that's when things really, really took off. And then that's what happened in 2015.
I believe you hit correct me if I'm wrong, but obviously the whole goal of this podcast is to help people launch from scratch to hit that 6-figure level. Eventually, you know, whether that's, some people do it in a year, some people take 2-3 years or more. But for you, when did you hit that 6-figure level just on that? Was it with Amazon within the first year and a half? Because I can't remember when you did that, but it was pretty quick.
Yeah. So as soon as I realized that e-commerce works, this was at the end of 2014. And yeah, so that's when I kind of realized it was working. At that point, I was still doing several things at once. And this is actually quite a key takeaway. Like, I was doing several things. I was doing eBay at the end of 2014. I was also doing music stuff still, just in the background. Like, I was trying to do a freelancer. There was some kind of course I was trying to put together at that time as well. So I was trying to do internet marketing, you know, online marketing. And I was looking at the Amazon. So I was doing 3 or 4 things at once. In 2015, I said to myself, I guarantee the only way to actually make this work is just to cancel all the other stuff and just focus on one thing. All right. Just really nail one strategy and just do that. Basically, one platform. So that's when I decided, okay, Amazon is the way to go. And I set goals for the year. I actually wrote it down on a piece of paper and I said, okay, by the end of the first quarter, right, by the end of March, I want to be doing consistently £1,000 a month profit with Amazon, right? And then I wrote, by the end of the second quarter, so by the end of, I think it was April, May, June, by the end of June, I wanted to be making £2,000 a month profit. And by the end of the third quarter, that would have been July, August, September, I want to hit 4K. And then by the end of the year, I want to hit 10K a month. Okay. Now this is profit, as in take home profit after all expenses. Those were my goals. Now on paper, they looked ridiculous to me. And the whole year I had 2 things on my mind. Number one was, this whole thing's going to turn out to be a scam or something. And I'm going to get my,
I remember a couple of questions or fears you had with that, actually.
Yeah. And also I was terrified about my account being shut down. I was like, I just guarantee this is too good to be true. And it's going to be over. Because you can't make money, you can't have an income. This is just not real. I was just
not
like,
real for you, is it? Where we come from, this poor upbringing, we don't deserve that, right? Subconsciously.
Yeah, like if I look at all the people around me that I grew up with, all my friends or my family, you know, everyone, not one person was doing this. So to me, it was just like, it's got to be a scam. Like, it has to be fake. You know, it has to be too good to be true. And yeah, so that was a huge fear. And I didn't think I was going to hit the goal, but I wrote it down anyway. And I'd look at it every day, every single day. I'd look at the goal and just read it and just remind myself, this is why I'm doing this. Like, if things were difficult, you know, if something wasn't working very well, and I was having a bad day, I'll just look at the goals again and just be like, okay, this is why I'm doing it. Because if I go through this, then, you know, it will be worth it. Right. And that just really centered my focus for the year. Anyway, long story short, within 11 months, I hit 10K a month profit.
That's awesome.
It's £50,000 in sales with a 20% margin, so 10K profit. And I remember we were in Barcelona that month in November.
Yeah, a little pad there, right? I remember that.
Yeah, so we were there. The business was a UK and Europe-based business. And so I was in Barcelona running the company in the UK, hitting those kind of numbers without even seeing any stock, without touching any products, and the money just kept coming in.
That's the awesome thing about internet business. You can go wherever you've got a laptop and an internet connection, you can run it, right? And a lot of people go, that's so scammy. It's like, no, it's called the internet, guys. You know, yeah. It's called the internet now. You can order Deliveroo or Uber Eats with a click of a button, or it's same as making money now. Times have changed. I mean, for me as well, for you, I probably would have done business anyway because I had the entrepreneurial spirit. I was very unemployable. I just didn't like people telling me what to do. I just don't like it. And I'm sure I know you're the same, Ollie. I know you're very similar in that way. They're sort of rebellious, that entrepreneur. But I think a lot of people are like that. I think deep down, a lot of people like that. But I want to touch on what you said about writing down the goals and looking at them. Because some people go, oh, that would be a great goal. We done an exercise of a client the other day. And, you know, they're like, I want to make X amount. And I'm like, why though? You know, why do you want to make that? Is that to cover your, is that how much you make? Oh, $2,000. Why don't you start with just covering your job? So you can then just do whatever you want, right? So so your goals had meaning, right? Your goals, you weren't just going, oh, I'll try this business. I know you had some really like, I want to make this happen and I'm not going to quit. Because that's the key thing, is you also didn't quit when it had some challenges. I think that's important about, obviously, I know you're humble. You won't say, oh, I'm so great, I don't quit. But I think that's important for the listeners to understand, is people quit too fast, I believe, in anything. And especially when it comes to business, right? Because it's so emotional, isn't it? It is challenging. There are some challenging times. Tell me what you think about this, Ollie. But I think the tactics are not that hard, but the emotions, overcoming the emotions is the hardest part.
Yeah, I think, yeah, definitely. Because if you can make one sale, you can make 100 sales. I mean, you just do the same thing over and over and over again to get more sales. And, you know, the people I work with now, because obviously I do a lot of coaching now and I help other people start businesses, and every single person I work with makes one sale. I've never had someone not make a sale. You know, as long as they stick with the program and do the things, that they make a sale. So if they can make one, they can make 100, they can make 1,000. The reason some don't isn't because they can't, right? Because if they've made one sale, then they can keep going. It's not that they can't. It's just the fact that, yeah, it's the mindset stuff. It's the resilience. It's the showing up when you not having a good day, you know, and just doing something. It's that, really. That's probably, especially in the beginning, especially in the first year, that's the hardest bit, because what you have to do is you have to break free of your old beliefs of how you think the world works, like the stuff that you learn in school from people, you know, earning 25, 26K on salaries. You're learning how the world works from them, right? Yeah. And it's not to say they're wrong. I mean, they're right for them and in their world.
Yeah.
But you have to transition and remove yourself from that world and move into the world of people who are wealthy, who own businesses, and adopt the mindset of an entrepreneur. And that's the difficult bit, you know, because we're not taught how to do that. Like, we're not taught how to consistently motivate ourselves and show up ourselves. Like, we're taught how to take orders from a boss and do that. And that's easy. For me, I find it really difficult, actually. I find it easier to do stuff myself. But I think that's the thing that people struggle with.
Well, I think most people that, you know, just to be honest with the guys, I mean, most people, they've done studies, 90% of people don't like their jobs. And that's just facts, because people can speak to their friends. Some people do, but they're the exception, not the rule. Most people, they hate their jobs. They don't like what they do, but they don't know another way for them personally, based on their mindset and their beliefs and their habits and their people around them, their sphere of influence, to get started. So I think that's what you got to work on, guys, a lot. And that's what Ollie's worked on a lot, is the mindset as well as the tactics. So maybe, obviously, a lot of the listeners, they want to launch their own online course. They're affiliates as well. They want to sell other people's course. So you mentioned that earlier. So maybe let's transition into that, Ollie. So when did you go, okay, I want to teach my knowledge, and I want to package my information and start making money next? I know that's truly, like, that is taking you to another level. I know, you know, you've made, I think, over $1 million from the course, right? And the coaching. Yeah.
So I've done now 2 million, over 2 million with Ecommerce. And with coaching, I've done about 1.2 million or something. Yeah. Wow. So absolutely.
That's amazing, man. That's amazing. Coming from a £7 an hour job in 6-7 years ago, you really got to take that on board. And there's really no excuses now for you not to just do it. So maybe, take us into that journey now, when you went, I want to package the information. I know the story, but for everyone listening, because this is huge. And I think now it's exploding. Like, it's the opportunity with COVID and stuff, and people buying online is just on a different level. So maybe share that.
Yeah, it's very interesting, actually, because I'm into the industries, and you are too, that are booming. Like, e-commerce right now is just going insane. Like, people's sales in January are almost as good as they were at Christmas.
Wow.
And if you know anything about e-commerce, like, Christmas is, like, a lot of companies do 50% of their annual sales just in Q4.
Wow.
So if they do $1 million in a year, they're doing 500K in, you know, October, November, December. So it's carrying over into January because the lockdown. So yeah, the opportunity now is insane. But the time when I started to teach, really, was when people kept messaging me. Like people just kept messaging me. I kept getting messages and questions from people about what was I up to, right? Because my friends would see me in a coffee shop. I'd be on a laptop. I'd be talking on the phone, like interviewing people, because a lot of the time I was hiring virtual assistants and interviewing people, and they were just confused. Like, what are you like? You don't seem to have a job, right? You're always in a coffee shop, always on a laptop. Like, what are you up to? Like, so I'd tell them and they'd be fascinated. All right. So then it clicked in my mind. I was like, okay, well, clearly I've got something valuable here, right? Because I was so focused on the business and so focused on just doing my own thing. I just didn't think anything of it. I was just like, well, I'm just growing a company, right? But when people kept asking, I was like, oh, wait a minute. Maybe I am doing something special, especially when I started to, bring in 6 figures. So then we were sitting, I think, in the Shard.
Yep.
As
you do. As you do in the Shard.
I think we stayed there for like a week or something. It's just outrageous, basically.
Yeah.
In the hotel there.
That was a lot of fun, man. And whoever hasn't gone to the Shard, when COVID gets back, you need to go in the pool. It's so beautiful, man. It's just a smell, everything about that energy. Yeah, I just love the Shard. It's just got a great energy. And that's what we do. Yeah, off tangent, but go to the Shard, guys, if you've not been, please.
Definitely. Even if you just spend one night, I think you can get a room for about maybe £300 or something for one night. And that's obviously a lot, but that in itself could motivate you to want more. Yeah. It just unlocks, like, you can do that.
Anyone can do
income. You can do it. It's not that crazy.
But the thing is, with people, they're like, what's the value I could save? But guys, you don't take your money, saving's great. Of course, you need to build it up. But eventually, then you want to do that to build a lifestyle. But you don't need to spend a month there or a week there like we did. Just spend a day, get that feel for it and open up your mind and go, hang on a minute. What if I could do this a week out or, a couple of months out of the year or just a week out of the year? And I think that will really open your mind up. And we used to do that a lot. Then we just go to these places just to feel that feeling.
Yeah, and looking over the you can see like the Gherkin, you can see like on the other side you can see like London Bridge, and you can see like the whole of London skyline, and just the amount of ideas that you get. And I remember we were having a conversation eating dinner at night time, right? You can see all the lights of London in the background. There's like wall to ceiling windows. It's just crazy. And that's when I think you said to me, like, why don't you just start teaching this stuff?
Yeah.
And it hadn't occurred to me until then. I was like, to be honest, one of the things that came into my mind was like, who the hell am I?
Yes.
To be teaching people stuff? Like, I haven't, I haven't been in business for like 50 years. I haven't got like any qualifications. Like, I haven't, I'm not like a professional certified coach with some certificate on the wall. Like, why should I be teaching people? But then the more I thought about it, the more I was just like, well, how do you qualify to teach people stuff? Like, what is the qualification? Because remember, those certificates on the wall, those certifications, if you think about it, it's a group of people who've come together in a room, right? And they've invented, like, somebody had to make that certificate. They probably went on Microsoft Word. They drew a little picture and put it on the top left and a little golden sticker. They wrote the name, coaching official, bullshit institution.
A little badge. Your
little badge on it. They wrote the thing and they signed it. And they've invented this thing which now everybody perceives as being official. Right? Exactly the same thing with a university. That's basically what a university does. You've got to remember, this was started by somebody who had an idea. Maybe we can charge people 50 grand to spend 3 years here. And what makes you more qualified just because you have a piece of paper? Like, there's so many qualified coaches out there who shouldn't be coaching.
Right? That's crazy what you're saying there. I just want to step in because obviously we want to keep this as a conversation so you guys can enjoy it on audio as well. When you actually paint it like that, I just had an aha then, because I know the education system is flawed for people that want to be entrepreneurs. It's great for people that want to be little workers and get told what they want to do, and that's fine. If you love it, then please do it. Like, we need workers, right? There's nothing wrong with that, but it's when you hate it. but it's almost like there's professors getting paid, you know, their bonuses at Oxford and their high salaries, and they've never started a business. And they will look at other people online, you know, X name, this name, that name, and go, they're scammers, but they've made money in business. So isn't that a little strange? Isn't that, it's just question for everyone listening, just question things, even question us. I mean, please do. Like, that's great. I think you should be skeptical, but pessimism is when you're just shut off completely. But start questioning your friends when they go, just get a job, or your family. That's fine. But what does a job give me? Oh, well, you could get up the corporate ladder, but then I get taxed a higher band. So
and it takes forever, and you have to beg people, brown nose and all this stuff. Yeah, you know, it's not where I want to be.
Man. And people are listening that are high up in the corporate ladder, they're in their 50s, or maybe they got there in their 30s. I remember I was going to be a waiter at Fortnum and Mason, and he was like, you can get, and I'm not criticizing, this guy was a nice guy, but this is before I started my own business online doing real estate and then creating my course and coaching. He was like, if you work for 15 years, you'll be able to be the assistant restaurant manager like me. You can make 30K a year. And I'm not criticizing him, but he didn't really like it. You could tell he didn't really like it. He was just going through the motions. I have a sit down, we'll interview you. Like, he didn't enjoy it. And I had an aha moment. I said, do I want to do that? Because that's terrifying to me. That's scary. I know it's the same for you, Ollie, as well. So yeah, man, but maybe share a little bit about the course and your first, because this is a really amazing, really beautiful story, because you had fear around the course, didn't you, about putting the course out and doing your first webinar and stuff. So maybe share a little bit about that, because I think that's not to put you on the spot, but I think
absolutely. Yeah, put me on the spot. Yeah. So so that was the first thing anyway, going back to what makes me qualified to teach people. And I came to the conclusion after a while that you're qualified to teach people if you can get them results. Like, full stop. It doesn't matter. If you can get somebody a result, then you're qualified, right? Because that's when you buy a program, isn't that what you're paying for? Like, you're not paying to learn from somebody who's been reading books for 20 years. Like, you're paying so you can move forward. So I thought, well, if I can help people move forward, then I'm 100% qualified to charge for a program, and I can charge whatever the hell they're willing to pay, right? And it's just, as long as they're happy paying it, then it's fair, right? So anyway, I made that decision. And so I had, a few people who were interested, and just basically friends on Facebook. That's all it was. I didn't do any ads, didn't do any marketing, nothing. I just had friends on Facebook, and occasionally I would post little bits about what was happening with the Amazon staff. And I had a few regular people who would like the posts and stuff like that. So I thought, well, how about, I've seen other people do webinars. How about I just do a webinar and I just offer something? And this was interesting because I didn't have a course. I didn't have a coaching program. I didn't have anything. But I wanted to prove that people would buy it before I went out and made it. Right. So I thought, what I'm going to do, I'm going to get on this webinar. I had about, 60, 70 people sign up just from Facebook. And I thought to myself, if people buy this program, right, that I'm putting together, then I'm going to go out and make it, right? So it was very simple, just like how to set up an Amazon account, how to find some stock, how to send it in, how to get it to sell. The very basic things for how to build an Amazon business, basically to get moving, based on stuff that I had done for the past year in my business. Right? I was just passing on. I was just a few steps ahead of them. I'd done a few 100,000 in sales. And they hadn't started yet, right? So I thought, well, this is a no-brainer. Like they'll find it valuable. Anyway, did the webinar, and 5 minutes before I was about to go live, I was literally ready to throw up. I was honestly about to throw up because I had never done any public speaking before, and one of the fears in my mind was, I don't think I can actually keep talking for an hour.
Oh wow, remember that.
That
Wow.
was the fear. Like,
Yeah.
how am I gonna like? If you ever hang out with me, I'm actually not the most talkative person, especially in social situations. I'm quite quiet generally, right? It's funny what you were saying earlier about how everyone sees gurus all the time and thinks they're a certain thing.
No,
Like,
the opposite.
you only get to see gurus what they're like on camera, right? You should see what they're like off camera.
Oh, it's a disaster.
Like, it's completely different, because when you're on camera, I mean, you have to talk, right? I can't just sit here, right? I have to talk for this interview, for example, right? And it's just a skill that I've learned how to talk on camera. But when I'm off camera, I'm very, very introverted, very reserved, and it's just my personality. So anyway, I was terrified. I was tempted to just message everyone and just be like, "Look, I'm feeling ill. We're going to cancel." Right. But something in me just said, "All right, I might as well just do it and see what happens." Right.
I know Scott was there by your side, wasn't it? That's our brother, my brother. Well, we're all brothers, but you know, I remember that, and I can't remember. I think I was there, but I remember then you just hit record, and then the internet connection, something happened with the internet.
That's one thing with anytime you do something live, something's gonna go wrong. And yeah, I think pretty much everything went wrong that could have gone wrong with that. And it was just chaos. But when I had all these people on, and when I knew that I was offering something that was valuable, and when I was talking about a topic that was actually, you know, I knew a lot about, all of a sudden, it wasn't so scary. Like, public speaking isn't actually that scary when you're talking about something you're passionate about. Right? You've probably realized that if you have a conversation with a friend about something that you care about, you could talk about it for hours. Like, it just is natural. So this is what the experience was. So after the first couple of minutes of being, you know, absolutely terrified, I started to kind of get into the rhythm. Before I know it, I was actually having a lot of fun on the webinar. And anyway, so what I did is, at the end of this session, I just said, right, I'm planning to put together a small program with a small amount of people. And it's going to come out in 2 weeks' time. Right, I said, right, this is what's going to be in the program. Remember, I hadn't created anything yet. Right, you know, module 1, how to set up your Amazon account. Module 2, how to find products. Here's what's going to be inside it. Module 3, how to manage prices and blah, blah, blah. So I laid out the structure of the course, and I just plucked a number out of the air that would be like a no-brainer. And I said, right, I'm going to charge £200 for this thing. Because I thought, well, look, if they could just make £500 in sales selling on Amazon using my program, they've already got a really good deal, right? Anyway, by the end of the session, I remember I had about 12 people sign up. Okay, so I'd made about £2,400 from the webinar, and that amazed me. And then I was so excited. I went out and built the program, delivered it to everyone, put them all in a Facebook group, got them all motivated, you know, gave them all help as much as I possibly could. And once that had started, like once they had dived in, that's when I realized how much I loved the coaching, because they started to get crazy results. Like, I remember Bruno, I met up with Bruno, who was one of the people who bought the program. Mm-hmm. He was at your event. It was like a dinner or something.
Yes.
That you held.
Yeah, in London. One of my clients, a partner, and he was doing property, and he ended as Angelo, really great guy, nice guy. Hey, Angelo, if you're listening to this. And yeah, Bruno ended up going with you and joining. And that was amazing result, wasn't it? He did phenomenal so quick.
Yeah, I think his second month he made something like £3,000 profit, because it so happened to be Christmas time, and he was just going like really sending a lot of stock into Amazon. And hearing that he had got those results using my program was one of the best feelings I've ever felt in my life. It was just so rewarding. You know, there's one thing making money and selling things, and you know, on Amazon I used to sell anything like toys, bits of kitchenware, electronics, baby products. You know, getting those sales and having the money come in is nice, but when you earn money from actually affecting someone else's life and seeing them like for the first time, you know, bring in some cash from a business, you really can't beat that feeling. It's just incredible. So that's really what kicked off the whole the coaching thing for me, and made me want to do more of it.
Yeah, that's something I want to pick up there, guys. And you guys should be noting that is it's almost like that book, Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. You were nervous, you were sweating. So what Tony Robbins says, like there's two people, the person behind the curtain that's sweating, heart's beating fast, and then they turn away and the other person goes, I'm ready, and goes on stage and sings. Like that's the difference really of people that get results. And then there's no one's special here. It's just skills you develop and acquire over time. But yeah, that's awesome, man. So you did the course. So a lot of people here, especially, they're affiliates as well, but it's the same model, isn't it? They're just, all they're doing is promoting someone else, but exactly, they still got to get the past generating traffic, signing, doing their own Facebook group and all of this stuff. They've still got to get past this, because this has been a common thing, Ollie, that I've seen over the last 7 years, extremely common actually. And even with people that have paid me, lots of money in property programs and 15 grand or whatever it was, people are scared what people think in general, but they're scared to post anything on their personal Facebook feed because they're scared of being judged by people they don't really like and mean nothing to them in the long term of like their family and helping their life and their religion or spirituality or whatever. And it means nothing. But why do you think that's one of the biggest things that holds people back is, what are people going to think of me if I fail? I'm going to look silly. What do you think of that? Because I know you probably had that idea, but you just moved through it. It looked like you just got on with it and thought, I don't really care what they think. That's what, maybe you tell me wrong if you had different thought process, but that's what I observed.
Yeah, so I mean, I was scared. I was really scared about it because, there's people on my Facebook friends list who, I'd known for a long time, and they'd seen me as a certain type of person, and so I had my identity like locked into that personality, right? They saw me as a musician. They knew I was pretty kind of chilled out, relaxed, and yeah, I had an idea of how they saw me in my mind, right? So it was quite difficult actually posting this new stuff, doing these new things in public, because I was worried about being judged. But yeah, I just thought, well, it's working, right? This stuff is working. Like, there's a certain amount of trust people have when they see you posting things on Facebook, because they're your Facebook friend, right? So it seems more legit. So it was working really well. So I just thought, well, if it's working, I'm just going to keep doing it. I'm just going to keep doing the same thing.
For sure. Yeah, that's awesome, man. But I think a lot of people, they do have that stumbling block. Like, I need to create a separate Facebook page. And so that's fine. If you want to keep things separate, do it. But you've got to start really auditing why you care so much, what other people think, because they're not going to really pay your bills. They're not going to get you to Hawaii or wherever you want to travel to, right? They're not going to do that. So let's sort of transition a little bit in terms of, okay, they understand the basics of, being an affiliate, selling courses. They see the industry there. What would you say? Let's just say someone is an affiliate or they're doing their own course and they've got a very limited budget. They've only got a couple of hundred quid, euros, dollars, or whatever. They're very limited. What, in terms of generating traffic for their niche, where would you start them? Because I know you've taught affiliates before and you've done that. So yeah, maybe share that, Ollie. Where's the best, top 3 traffic methods for someone that's a complete newbie and they want to make their first sale?
Yeah, that's a good question. I would say, in fact, can we get the camera to show me on the main screen? I don't know why it's not changing. I just wanted to sort that out.
You should be on the main screen, yeah.
Is that better? Can you see me on the main screen now?
I can see you on the main screen, yeah.
Cool. All right, yeah. So I would start off with what I call your extended network, actually. So this is the best place to find like all the low-hanging fruit people who could buy your stuff or take up your offers. Like, these are the easiest people to sign up to anything very, 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 very quickly. And a lot of people don't really appreciate the power of your extended network. So what an extended network is basically you have your close network of people in your life. So your family and your friends. These are the people you see all the time. So for me, my close network is like Tom. I'd be like my parents, my girlfriend, like friends, right? That's your close network. Your extended network is kind of one step down from that. So I have the close network. Say Tom probably knows 300 people, right? You know, if you look at his Facebook account, you know, probably got 300 people that he kind of knows. My parents probably have 300 people in their network, right? My colleagues probably have 300 network, right? Or staff, whatever you want to call them, right? My girlfriend knows people. So people who know your friends of friends and your family's friends, right? And associates. These people probably, most of them are on your Facebook, or they're on a Facebook account of someone you know. And they have some kind of connection to you, right? It might be a loose connection, but they know that you're a real person. So these are the easiest people to sell to in the world. Like one of the people who bought my program was someone I went to university with. He actually bought my course. He was in my class at university. So he knew I was a real person. And so it was the easiest sale ever. And he was really happy with the program and really excited to be part. So that's where I would start with. And that's why posting on Facebook is actually really good.
Yeah.
Because you already have your extended network right there, you know?
For sure.
That's where I would start. And then what you can do is to start growing the people who were on your Facebook. So you can go into groups, you can go look at your friends of friends and start adding other friends who might be interested.
Yep.
And it's just a really good way to organically grow your audience without spending any money on advertising.
Well, groups are phenomenal, aren't they? Because there's a lot of engagement through Facebook and groups. Like people think, do I need to create a Facebook fan page? But they don't. If you have 1 million followers, you'll probably get like 50 people see it when you post because they throttled it to make you buy ads. But Facebook groups, they encourage and they also organically show it to other people. And it's a great way, isn't it, to find people on Facebook groups, add them as friends that are into that niche, because you know, and then maybe even drop them a message, and you know, not a spammy message. A person use their first name, say, look, I don't want to come across spammy. I like to do that. I always like to get in the mind of what that person's going to be thinking. So I'm sort of emphasizing with them. I know you're probably thinking this is spammy, but I just want to, you know, I've got a group as well. If you want to check it out, please do. You know what I mean? It's but yeah, I mean, I hit 6 figures in education with I had no website or anything. I just used my Facebook personal feed. It was crazy. It was really, really crazy. And you're right there about the trust. People see that you're a real person and they already know you, right? There's like friends and family. They're like, oh, I know them. They're not going to rip me off.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly. They're already connected to you. Because really one of the things with selling in general is you have to build trust with people. And that can take time and energy. That's just why people spend so much time putting out content. It's really the purpose of content is to build trust, right? Because when I watch 20 videos of somebody, by the end of those 20 videos, I'm like, okay, this person kind of knows what they're talking about. I kind of like them.
Yeah.
Now I'm probably ready to buy something, right? That takes time and energy to get people who are willing to watch 20 of your videos, you know?
Yes.
But with your extended network, you don't need to do that. The work's already done because the trust is there. So now it's just a question of, well, do I want to buy the thing they have or not? You know, it's way easier.
Yeah, that's really well said, especially if you're like selling a high ticket or being an affiliate of a high ticket product. You only need really one seller. We just had a client, Ollie, Daniel. He just made, I think it was roughly about 4 to 5 grand just by referring someone he knew in his close network. Literally got a wire of 5K. The guy's traveling to Brazil now. He's 25. I mean, that's amazing. You know, it really is amazing. And it is that simple, right? They don't have to sell and be hard sellers and really be aggressive, because a lot of people think that with selling that you need to be aggressive. What would you say when it comes to that? When people go, sales is dirty, they're out to rip you off and it's a dirty word. What would you say around that concept?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And I used to think that as well. I used to think, you know, automatically by being a salesman, you have to be, you know, pressure, manipulation. You have to be like a real estate agent or like a like the typical like used car salesman type, using those tactics. What I realized actually is that really sales is just a lot more about building relationships, and it's just an extension of that process of just building trust with people. So, getting someone to watch 20 videos of yours voluntarily, of course, is part of the trust building process, but that continues if you're to have some kind of sales conversation. Really it's about the trust and then just offering them something. So, when I first started doing sales, because I was selling higher ticket coaching programs on the phone, I was watching a lot of sales courses. I've watched a lot of programs, read a lot of books on sales, and quite often the methods that are taught to sell stuff, they align with, I'd say, like the more kind of extroverted, loud personality, right? Which is cool, and that stuff works, right? For some people, like if you take someone, for example, like Grant Cardone, right? He has a very aggressive way of selling. Like, no, he's not a scammer or anything. His methods are legitimate and they work really well. But his personality is different to mine, right? And it wouldn't work if I tried to do that. It would seem very incongruent, if I just
so
did the
funny. I can imagine that 10x everything.
Yeah, it wouldn't work, right? It'd be weird, and so it'd be incongruent, and therefore the trust would be broken. People wouldn't trust me because they'd be like, this guy is being weird. So what you have to do with sales is find a way that aligns with your personality. Like for me, I think when people are on the phone with me, and I'm selling them things, I feel like they probably feel like, is this person even selling me anything? Like I'm so like soft and passive and gentle when I'm selling stuff. That it's like the opposite. It's like, well, can you just tell me the price now? Like, I want to buy it, right? The reason I do that is because it's in line with my personality. Like the way I close people is I'll just tell them, like, this is what I've got on offer. I mean, does that sound like anything you'd be interested in? Like, is there any pressure involved there? Or is there any manipulation, arm twisting? No, it's literally, that's how I talk to people.
Yeah, you're aligned with you're being congruent with your personality. And then, of course, I'm sure you understand the basics of sales, asking questions, listening, and following that protocol. But you're not overgoing with every little tactic where it becomes awkward, and it becomes almost like the tactics override the energy. I was mentioning this to a client the other day. It's about your energy. I've never bought from anyone that had a crap energy. It's just not good. Like Grant Cardone, what you said, great, is awesome, and his tactics work for him, and it's congruent. Him being more quiet wouldn't work.
It would be weird.
That's not his personality, or like someone like Jordan Belfort or someone like that. Their personalities are just different in that way. But there's no right or wrong way. It's just grooving it with yourself as a person.
Yeah, and you got to have fun with it. Like, I think people can tell I'm having fun on the phone.
Yeah.
I'm interested in what they have to say, and I really love the stuff I sell. I'm really passionate about it, and I believe in it. Like, if you believe in the thing you're selling, then it really shows, and people can tell, and then that makes them trust you even more.
Yeah,
and it makes them even more excited to buy as well.
With that energy transference, isn't it? That energy that you feel you're giving to them, they're like, oh, I actually like that. And if they're ready to buy, because a lot of people, they might be speaking to someone else in a different industry that's just using all these tricks and manipulation, and they're like, oh no, even if it's cheaper, the product might be cheaper. So yeah, it's putting yourself in people's shoes. But okay, in regards to we're going to wrap up soon, wrap up in 5 minutes. So in regards to that type of selling now, where are you in terms of what you're doing now, Ollie? You don't have to tell us the exact penny, but in terms of online programs and stuff like that, is it working well for you right now? Is it not working that great? Tell us a little bit about how that's going. And
sure, yeah. So I have a 6-figure coaching business now, extremely profitable, just because that's the nature of coaching. I mean, you have very low expenses, really. I mean, there's no inventory cost. The cost of the deliverable is zero. I mean, it's just my time and content, basically. So yeah, it's extremely profitable, a 6-figure company. And it's growing, right? Because right now a lot of people are interested in learning stuff online. And I think one of the things is that people now, like, learning things online is becoming so normalized. Like 5 years ago, doing like an online program was kind of weird to a lot of people. Like there was like in the UK, like the Open University, which is where you would learn stuff at home, kind of online, and that was seen as like a novelty. But now, like my sister, for example, is going to university now. She's at school learning like musical theatre, right? She's doing all of her classes on Zoom,
Yeah, man.
right? And it's so now people are just used to learning stuff online. So what's happened is the online learning industry has absolutely exploded. Uh, it's better now that we're in a pandemic. So yeah, that's helping me, of course. And yeah, things are growing.
So the time is now to get in, right? For the guys that want to get into the e-learning and creating their own product or as an affiliate, the time's now.
Oh, definitely, because over the next few years, like whenever there's a boom in an industry, things start to shift. And what will happen is the big companies will start to realize that there's a lot of money here.
Yeah.
So what you want to do is get in while it's growing and establish yourself, because then you can be one of the big companies.
Yes, building that list, isn't it, as well? And we can talk about that. Maybe we can do a second part. So I know we got to cut this one, but yeah, guys. I mean, that was a great. Oh, I appreciate it, Ollie. That was an awesome interview. And guys, there's some tactics there you can take away, but really, what you can take away is a story of you can start from humble beginnings, broke, not having anyone successful really around you, to be able to produce, you might not produce millions or, high six-figure business, but you just might make an extra 2,000 or 3,000 a month. Replace that income, do your thing, maybe then invest in a couple of, invest in some properties or whatever, and, just have a easy lifestyle and retire. Like, it's possible to do that in 3 or 4 years. It really is. I've seen it myself. I've seen you do it. We know many friends that have done it and many associates. So amazing, man. That was awesome. So Ollie, appreciate it, buddy. And guys, check Ollie's stuff out as well. You can go to the e-commerce freedom, right, Ollie?
Yeah, so just type my name, Oliver Denya, on YouTube, or just go to ecommercefreedom.com, and there's loads of free stuff.
We'll put it in the show notes, guys, so you can check out. And if you're interested in Amazon learning, you can actually book a call with Ollie. You'll see it in the notes. We can just book a call with him, and just give him money. Cheers, guys. Appreciate it.
Awesome.
Thanks so much.
Hey guys, it's Tom Ash. We hope you guys have enjoyed the episode as much as we've loved putting it together for you. Please guys, do us a huge favor. Hit that love button, hit that subscribe button, and review us on Apple iTunes. We do read the comments. We want to improve our content and give you guys the best that we've got. Equally, the best comment, guys, we will shout you guys out, and we are giving out free courses. So guys, please come hit that love button, leave us a review, and we'll catch you on the next podcast, guys. All the best. Take care.